Welcome to the Four Peaks Parents Podcast with Thomas Miller. Are you tired of your tween, teen, or young adults' dysfunctional behaviors holding you emotionally hostage, controlling your family, and ruling your life? Do you feel like you're riding an emotional roller coaster every time you walk into your house? If you answered yes, then you're in the right place. This podcast is a community for courageous parents just like you who come here to gain effective tools, skills, learn concrete action steps, and take power back so they can change their tween, teen, or young adult's life and change their family's future. All right, welcome everyone. Today's topic is how to avoid getting split by your kids. So if you listen to the previous episode, I talk about whether you're a pot roast or fried chicken. It's a nice little setup for this one because that episode was primarily about your pacing as a parent. And are you too out front with your parenting or too slow to react? So we're going to pick up and do a deeper dive to avoid getting split. Just to be clear, so you know what the heck I'm talking about, when I say getting split, that means if you are in a co-parenting situation, your child is using the other parent against the other parent, whether you realize it or not. And what happens often is because your kids are so smart and they all have PhDs in manipulation, as much as we love them, and they are our bumpkins and our cherubs and the greatest thing that's ever happened to us, but they're also pains in the arses. They know how to, right, leverage one against the other. And then why they do that is so that y'all are fighting and they can exit stage left. Kids, this is as old as time. Kids want to put you on their time, right? It's not about their time. It's about making sure we're on healthy, effective parenting time. That's the most important timeline. And it's so easy because kids will come at us when we're tired. They'll come at us with tears. They'll come at us in a crisis, right? They need to know, oh my God, because it was just posted on Snap that this is happening in 17 minutes and we need to say how high and drop everything and oh my God, and get our kid to the mall or that party or that trampoline place or whatever the heck it is, right? They're so good at coming to us in a crisis. And if we're not careful, right, we're going to be put on their time. So a couple of cool things about this episode. When we are done, you should hopefully know exactly how to not get split. Does that mean your kids are not going to still engage in really freaking annoying behaviors that are going to piss you off and are going to, oh my God, drive you insane? Absolutely not. But you're going to be that much more resourced. If you also are not don't have a co-parent, that's okay. This episode is still for you because there's tons of goodies in here that will be helpful to make sure that you can have solidarity with yourself and that you could have solidity with yourself and have a deeper alignment with your greatest parenting, let's say, goals or values. So one of the things, again, when kids come to you is, like I just said, about whose time are we on? We're on their time. It's okay to say, to first and foremost, listen to what they have to say. And this is what it should sound like. Thank you so much for sharing where you're at and how important it is that I answered this thing right now about giving you $10,000 towards your latest and greatest gadget or thing that you need, or saying yes to you having a sleepover with your friend in France for the next 7 years. I'm joking. The point is, whatever the heck they're coming to you, I would absolutely actively listen. Really gargle their worldview. As ridiculous as it may sound, from giving you $10,000 or immediately buying them a brand new car or buying them the brand new iPhone or whatever their crisis is, it is so hard as a parent to not be judgmental and immediately be like, y'all are crazy, right? Or you're insane, or like, what? Or just immediately say no. But the first thing I want to make sure that you do is you actively listen. And that's listening to listen. Really, like truly, as ridiculous again as it sounds, if we gargle their worldview, if we put ourselves in their shoes, we're going to get a lot more done. Okay. And we're going to be able to flow a lot more empathy and compassion their way. So, what it sounds like is I hear how important this thing is. I know you want an answer right now. I know that, again, everyone and their mother's going. I know everyone is already committed. All your friends have committed to going, to renting the beach house for, of course, the prom with the family that everyone knows, are the most permissive parents on the face of the earth. That being said, I'm just not in the headspace to have this conversation. And because I want to set this dialogue and conversation up for success, let's have it tomorrow. So right there, you already bought yourself some time to either, again, get with yourself if you're a mono parent, solo parent, or to get with your partner. The key thing you want to do immediately is if whoever the kid goes to first, if you're doing the drop off in the morning and you're getting berated or harassed or whatever, or they're lawyering up for the ask, you just immediately do what I just said. Hey, really important. I trust us. Trust me, we will have a conversation later on tonight at 7. You immediately hop on your little family, whatever you got, communication, whether it's WhatsApp or text or cell or whatever, and call your partner and be like, all right, shit is real. This is what's happening. Here's how it's going down. What do you think? What do I think? Right? That immediately slows down that propensity that one of you might have, right, for the fried chicken, which we talked about last episode, or the pot roasting, as in the underwhelming or overreaction, right? So now immediately you're at a healthier place. You're parenting from your center. So that's huge. The other thing is to realize that you and your partner may have different perspectives. One of you might be cool with them going to the Drake show at 14 in Madison Square Garden or the TD Garden or wherever, the Staples Center, right? The other parent may be like, you are insane, right? So it's important for the two of you to get clear on clear around your orientation of letting go and separating and allowing them to individuate. The primary task of adolescence is to separate and individuate. The parenting stock is going to go down a little bit and the friend stock is going to go up a little bit. That does not mean that they don't value you. You are still hands down the most important protective factor in driving every single thing that they do. All the research shows that having a healthy, secure, attachment-based relationship with a parent is the greatest protective factor. And we're talking protective factors against risk factors like drugs and alcohol, depression, right, mental health, cutting, self-harm, etc. So never ever minimize the value you have, even if they are clearly trying to make you feel like you are no more important than that potted plant in the corner. So staff up privately, like I talked about. Okay. Slow down the timeline, like we just talked about. Make sure that you have the energy, the sleep, the wherewithal, the brain power, the caffeine that you might need to have this conversation. Seek support from your partner. Do not parent on an island. This is what they're always trying to do. They're always trying to put one on an island. And trust me, they know which is the parent that tends to say yes. And how is the other parent who, again, feels like they're left holding the bag, or is the heavy going to feel? They're going to feel isolated, abandoned, hurt, scared is really what it is underneath it all. And they're not going to feel that they can trust you. And that's such a setup for your child to just know that they can get their way, right, on this through this one parent. And that one parent is probably not feeling great about themselves if they're only saying yes. And the other parent is most likely now feeling more and more and more triggered and more likely will be more reactive in the future. And that will set that parent up for a negative dynamic, the one who is actually feeling like they have to hold the bag. So the parent that's often saying yes, we need to slow the fudge down, put a healthy pause between impulse and action, and realize that delaying gratification is one of the most effective and important things you could do for your child. The marshmallow test, if you don't know what the heck I'm talking about, it's a great little, cute little actual survey study, I should say, where they give kids a marshmallow and they say, hey, you can have this marshmallow right now. Or if you wait, I'm forgetting if it's 5 or 10 minutes, we'll give you another one. And the kids, of course, that can manage that and can regulate, right, their propensity to want to eat the marshmallow and put a pause and delay gratification and maybe use some mindfulness skills or deep breathing skills, those kids are deemed to be more successful and have greater cognitive flexibility and are going to be less prone toward impulsivity, right? So realize that if you are the parent that often says yes, and that is the parent that is often basically being isolated, you have a role in this. So accountability starts with you. You have to take a hard look at why you have set up sort of the Underground Railroad, if you will, for them to get their way. And if you, as the parent who's always feeling like the heavy, as hard as it is, trust me, you want to build a deeper alliance, greater intimacy with the parent that you feel is more permissive because you're stronger together. Okay, so that's really important. The key is to really try to catch each other being good, and good meaning whatever the new parenting style might be. If one is super permissive and you can catch them and see them holding the line a little more, please do that and shout that out publicly. One of the things that I always have families do is use this following framework: is when blank, I feel blank. If you continue to blank, I will. So that can sound really nice. You could do this, of course, toward your child, and we'll spend further episodes diving into that technique because it's all about emotional expressiveness and really pushing heart. I always say to parents that tend to be intellectualizers and really struggle sometimes on connecting with their kids, I always say head to the heart, because a lot of parents sometimes can get lost being very cerebral. So if you see your partner doing a new behavior, you could say, hey, if say they're more permissive, when you actually hold the line and stand in solidarity with me, I feel so connected and supported. If you continue to actually do your best to try to create, more of a parent wall with me, I will continue to catch you being good, right? And I will continue to let you know how much this means to me. If the other parent who's more permissive and deems the other parent as being way too strict or way too militant, let's say, or draconian in their parenting style, they could say something like, when you let go, take that deep breath, let go of control, cede ground to me, allow me to kind of also do my parenting thing, I feel really close and connected to you. If you can continue to flow trust my way, I will continue to let you know how important that is and how much that means to me. So again, those are really good things. We're going to work on not getting isolated. We're going to work on slowing the timeline down and making sure we're not on our kids' timeline. We're going to seek support. One thing I love to have parents utilize is I call it the oops and ouch rule. We're all going to make mistakes. So if you see your partner just come out of the gate on the more permissive side and leave you in the dust, and you could just say, ouch, like that really hurt, right, when you did that. And hopefully they'll say, oops, you're right, my bad. I yet again fell back into an old pattern. You also can just say, if you're the reactive or the permissive parent, whatever your sort of proclivity is, and wherever you're struggling to create shift for yourself, you could just own it and just say like, oops, my bad. I kind of fell back on my sword. You also could use this with your kids. If you are the fried chicken parent, or if you are the parent that feels more often like than not that you have to say no to compensate for your partner's uber permissiveness, if you get into it with your kid and you just shut them down and don't actively listen and don't try to seek to understand or to even stand inside their shoes about why they feel they need to, buy a Learjet or whatever realistic or unrealistic thing it is, you could just say, oops, my bad. I just fell back into my kind of like, more hardcore approach and didn't really hear you out. Hopefully, they'll also be able to say, ouch, like dad or mom, that did hurt, You also could say ouch to your kids, if your kids are like coming to you like nonstop and not really appreciating the bigger picture because you're parenting, I'm sure, another child or two, and the family, right, is what's most important. And if they're, as they're supposed to be on some level, egocentric, you could say, ouch, it feels like you're coming to me all the time solely for your own kind of myopic, perspective or myopic needs. It really would mean a lot to me if you could just kind of put on a wider lens. One of the things that's super important is try to figure out what your kid's trying to accomplish. Underneath this request for, traveling, whatever, to LA or something with someone they just met on Snapchat, as much as that should be a no and a hell to the nah. The point is, what are they trying to accomplish? Maybe underneath it all, they have been struggling to make friends, and they did meet someone online. And as scary and as weird and wonky as that might be, are they really trying to meet an actual developmental need around building a community? Are they actually trying to forage into the dating space? Are they actually trying to flex their own independence? Even debating, which we'll definitely talk about in future episodes, you never debate with the debater, but believe it or not, a child who's debating with you, that's actually the beginnings of their identity, right? It's actually a healthy beginning of the separation individuation phase, which is a developmentally appropriate task. So it's important for us to try to figure out, what are they trying to accomplish? Because underneath it, more often than not, there's actually a developmental task, and they're trying to achieve mastery around some developmental, let's say, challenge, goal, need, mastery, skill, etc. So it's just important to try to not view everything again as a nail, not view this as some selfish thing, which, trust me, there's going to be many selfish requests by your kids. But try to put on that wider lens and ask them questions, ask a lot of open-ended questions, and try to, again, stand inside their shoes. So I'm going to run through really quick the tips for today's episode to avoid getting split. Make sure to staff up privately. Slow down the timeline. Put them on your timeline, not theirs. Seek support so you're not being isolated and making decisions on an island. Have situational awareness of, is this the right time? And then if you don't have the right time, energy, or headspace, create that for yourself. Try to understand the deeper meaning behind this behavior or this request. And also validate where they're coming from and what they're going through. I hope this was helpful. Can't wait to see you in the next episode. Be well. Bye. Hey everyone, Thomas here. 2 quick things. First off, it means the world to me that you took the time to listen to my podcast. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Number 2, while you were listening to the show, who was the one person that you thought could really benefit from this episode? And please share it with them. Also, if you haven't already, please sign up for my mailing list so you can get instant access to my free community. Here you will be able to connect with other parents in similar situations, as well as access my regular Q&A sessions where you can ask me anything and get headed in the right direction. The link is in the description.